Yo, this lesson, we're gonna get into the nitty gritty. We're about to talk about single releases, album releases, the philosophy in and around that. Like, it's not the same and shit has really changed. Notice from the previous classes and different classes I've said, I've kind of purposely compared today and the old guard of what the music business looked like when I came into it 17 years ago. Because you may have seen something that worked in the past, but with the digital era, releasing music and building your artists has changed so much within the last couple years, you know? So, like I said, you always gotta be knowledgeable and stay up and pay attention and be willing to evolve as a manager. My philosophy on releasing singles and albums when I first started with Lil Wayne and Drake is different now that I'm releasing music currently. It goes twofold, because as a manager, you gotta think about this a couple different ways. It depends on your level of your talent when it comes to how you're gonna roll them out and how you're gonna decide release plans and single versus album. But let's start with some core basics that would be smart to have as a manager when you think about releasing anything, right? You always want to tie in a release. The ultimate goal is always to try to capitalize on the most eyeballs, most ears that you can, right? So you ultimately want to try to sync in an album, a single, whatever it may be, release with some type of event, something that might be meaningful to the subject matter of the music. For example, if you have an artist that's singing songs about women and love, they may want to release that album in and around Valentine's Day. You feel me? If you have an artist that has a single that's about racial injustice, you might want to drop that on, you might want to set your plans up. Let's drop that on Juneteenth. What's coming up? So as a manager, and you're talking to your artist creatively, your brain should start moving on to what the timing of it and when could it make sense, and help guide the artist in that, because the artists are creative. Don't expect that from them. So if it's not you, it's your marketing team that has to come up with these ideas of when we should drop this music. As a manager, you always have to figure out, when you talk about dates and releasing a single or an album, to be strategic into how can you maximize. One of them, if you go back and you look at Kanye albums or Wayne or Nicki, any of those albums, one of our go-tos back in the day was award shows, a performance on television in front of a live audience that's garnering a lot of eyeballs. I think that with, I can't think of which album it was. It was a Wayne song we dropped immediately after, and this was big because we pushed the date. This is when the album's coming out on Tuesdays, and the award show might have came on a Saturday or Sunday. Can't remember which one it was. But we was like, you know, we purposely understood that we had an opportunity to get a whole bunch of eyeballs. We knew he was gonna kill it on stage, and we built in with the marketing of the award show, singles available at midnight, or post this performance, go download the single right now. Those, when you think about when you release songs and when you release albums, you have to think about those type of things, you know what I'm saying? What's moments that's gonna bring people in, and while you got them, bam, release it. And that kind of transitions me into my philosophy on releasing music today. The music business is saturated right now. Digital has allowed a lot of people to upload a lot of songs, so people are consuming a lot of things, and their attention span is short. So back in the day, our philosophy was, it was usually a 3 to 6 month rollout plan. And that usually started with, our first song is gonna be a song for the culture, a song that's gonna play in the club, i.e. a milli, i.e. Headlines, or Over, or Starting from the Bottom. Something that's gonna be culturally relevant, gonna be able to play on the in the urban clubs, because that's who drives the culture. Black people drive the culture. So we knew if we started there, we'd penetrate out. And then our second play, because radio was important, and we thought about this because of radio. And the second single, which we'll drop probably 3 months later, because it usually took 6 to 8 weeks to break a song on urban radio stations. So within that time, we'll be setting up our rhythmic song, which was a little bit faster in BPM, so the beat was faster, and it catered to a station that might have played a little bit of pop and hip hop, right? So that's when you get your lollipops and you Find Your Lovin' and Super Bass and those type records, right? And those type records. And from there, we let that grow for 3 months. So now you're about at 6 months, and then we drop the album. We'll figure out some type of event. Maybe it's an award show. Award shows used to be our catalyst. Let's get an award show, and let's get on TV some type of way. And from TV, we'll announce the album, put you in people's face, and we got the album. And the third single, and any single after that, was usually dictated by the consumer, because they would have had the CD in their hand. Now we're paying attention to what they like. So that literally was our blueprint for Kanye West, Lil Wayne, Drake, Nicki Minaj, G-Eazy, up until music started looking different and started changing. So nowadays, 6 months? 6 months? If I say I drop a single and an album don't come in 6 months, people have been and forgot about that. 6 months is a long time in music. So you see these campaigns that shrunk into a couple weeks. You saw DJ Khaled just recently, and which was incredible. He had an incredible marketing plan, because he's captivating people and wanting them to want and buy into something right now. So he's gonna drop video after video. I got this I'm gonna lead with this Jay-Z and Nas song. Then I got this, I got Lil Baby and I got all these hot artists and dropping them back to back to back. Khaled, he's a great great spokesman himself, to really pump that. And it made people wanna go download his music, Or Cole, you come out, I'm about to put out music. Everybody, hold up. Then he come with a documentary, Then it's the album, then it's a video. But that's how, and now he got a #1 album. But that's how you got to do it now if you're a star, just because you got to understand the lay of the land as a manager. You have to understand that people's mind can't consume, because there's so much music out there. You got to captivate people, then you got to hit them with hits. And that could be the music world, that could be something else, but you got to hit them with things consistently up until that period. And I'm looking at 2-week windows right now, but within that 2 weeks, I might drop a video this day. You're gonna have an interview. You might have a freestyle come out this day. You might have this magazine cover come out this day. But I'll be looking at different hits. Now you're on TV. You're on Saturday Night Live. Now you drop an album. And that's how we're looking at strategy now, just because how people think. Now, mind you, this is for management of artists who has a fan base, who's been out, who's been out. Now, it's a total different approach when you're talking about singles and album releases when it comes to the new artists that I have, right? Or the people that's on Blueprint Distribution. I'm taking a whole different approach. It's a single type business on digital service platforms. So the Spotify, Apple's, Tidal, they highlight singles. They like highlighting singles. That's their bread and butter. That's the world that people are living in, because there's so much music out there. People just listening to what they like. You don't have to go in the store anymore if you like a song and buy a whole CD. People have a choice to listen to what they like. So if you have an artist that the fans don't know, who haven't garnered enough attention, you have to create singles, drop songs to garner that audience, to get people salivating to say, oh, I want to listen to a whole project from this person. And you got to do it consistently. Every 6 weeks, every 8 weeks. Managers, if you got artists, if you got talent out there, be consistent. Don't overthink anything. Just drop shit. Drop content, videos, be consistent, because that's the only way now. You have to be that way, because you're fighting in an environment that has so much music coming out every day. So you have to be consistent to get your artists to stand out there. Not only music, with everything that lies in. So your plan should be, as you're setting up releases and strategy for a new artist or an artist who may not be there at that point, you need to be thinking about something to do every month or every other month and have something set. Okay, we're gonna release this single this day, we coming back next 2 weeks doing this day. Having at least 4 or 5 singles that you're thinking of and map out your plan that way. So now that 6 months plan don't lead it to an album. That 6 months plan is consistent records or content or whatever you gotta do, to draw attention to your artist. So the end goal would be to say, oh shit, now they the hottest, now I wanna get an album from the baby. Who is this dude? He just dropped this, he just dropped that song, he just dropped that song. Now, damn, I fuck with the baby. Now I wanna hear what he gotta say, and then he'll get a #1 album. So, unless you get an anomaly like a Lil Nas X, you catch one song that's so big, you like, fuck it, let's just try to put out this, let's get out a couple more songs and put this EP together and get it out there, just cause you're that hot, that Fish Street hot, But as a manager, you have to, it's no blueprint in this shit. It's a case-by-case scenario, but you have to understand and you gotta pay attention. And you have to have knowledge of the trends and what's going on. And look at what's working and look at what's not working. Look at what's worked for you and what hasn't worked for you when it comes to how you are putting your artist music out. In conclusion, I hope you caught the gems and understand. And the biggest thing I could tell you to take away from that is there's no right or wrong way to release music. I gave you different examples of my philosophy on the beginning stages, and I gave you what it looks like for a traditional artist from my eyes to you. But like I said, by the time we put this out, there may be a whole nother trend or wave that's going on. So you have to pay attention as a manager and follow those waves and understand and study the game and look at what works and what doesn't work and what's working in the marketplace and try to cater your artist marketing plan in and around that. Be innovative and see how you can add on to that.